Bill Cosby bombshell. The disgraced comedian, once known as America's Dad, arrested and charged for the first time with indecent assault. We will talk to his attorney in just a moment after we get the latest from ABC's Ryan Smith, who is outside the courthouse in Philadelphia. Good morning, Ryan.
Good morning, Amy. He walked into this courthouse slowly, cane in hand, guided by his lawyers, accused of aggravated indecent assault. That charge causing some of the dozens of women accusing him of drugging or sexual assault to claim vindication, while his lawyers vowed to fight the charge.
It's a day many thought would never come. Bill Cosby walking into criminal court. This morning, Cosby is out on $1 million bail, facing a charge he sexually assaulted Andrea Constand in 2004 after giving her pills and booze at his suburban Philadelphia home.
Mr. Cosby urged her to take pills that he provided to her and to drink wine, the effect of which rendered her unable to move, and he committed aggravated indecent assault upon her.
Mr. Cosby, how do you respond to the charges?
Appearing frail as he walked in, cane in hand, his lawyers guiding him to court. Cosby answered yes when asked if he understood the charge against him, aggravated indecent assault, punishable if convicted by up to 10 years in prison. He hasn't yet entered a plea, but Cosby's lawyers released a statement saying, "Make no mistake, we intend to mount a vigorous defense against this unjustified charge, and we expect that Mr. Cosby will be exonerated by a court of law." Over 50 women have come out accusing the superstar comedian of sexual assault, drugging, or rape. Earlier this year, more than a dozen of those women spoke out in the A&E documentary Cosby, The Women Speak, produced by ABC's Lincoln Square Productions. Barbara Bowman came forward after learning about Constand's allegations.
I said, that's enough. I will not sit in silence any longer. And no one believed this woman, and I did, because her story was my story.
Cosby addressing the allegations for the first time in this May interview with ABC News' Lindsay Davis.
I have been in this business 52 years, and I've never seen anything like this.
The charge filed just weeks before the statute of limitations was set to run out. And as Cosby's court appearance ended yesterday, the judge said to him, "Good luck, sir," to which he replied, "Thank you." His next court appearance, January 14th. Amy?
All right, Ryan Smith with the latest for us. And we are now joined by Bill Cosby's attorney, Monique Presley, in Washington. Good morning to you, Monique.
Good morning.
It was a stunning cover of the New York Daily News this morning that we all woke up to. The headline, "He Said, She Said," with 55 she saids following. Part of the defense on the Bill Cosby team had always been he had never been charged with a crime. Well, now he has been charged with a crime. Do you expect this to bring about more criminal charges for your client?
Well, first of all, I didn't wake up to that cover. I just saw it a few minutes before we went on, and it's coming from that bastion of journalistic integrity. So I'm not really putting much stock into what any of their covers espouse to say about this case or any of the other cases. But as for my expectation, I expect that because the DA's office, after 12 years, has chosen to reignite and to charge my client for a crime and an unjustified charge after a prior district attorney for this very office said publicly and privately that it should not be done, and then led my client into a civil process where he testified because he believed that there was no thought whatsoever, no possibility of him being charged criminally, since that's what they said. But I expect now that all of those things will get ferreted out in a court of law, and I have faith in the justice system.
Well, let's talk about that deposition. It was from back in 2005, a 10-year-old deposition, actually, that Bill Cosby gave, where he admitted that he gave drugs to women to have sex and that he knew Andrea Constand. With those words on the record, what will your defense strategy be?
So you just conflated about 4 decades worth of the testimony from that deposition. I can't talk specifically about anything that's in the deposition, but your network and every other network in America right now has that deposition. So you know that those two things don't go together, and that he was very specific about what he said about this particular case, and that he did admit to having available to him 40 years earlier, the drug Quaaludes, which was at the time a legal drug, and that he offered it to two women who took it consensually, did not sneak and give it to them, did not hide it and use it intentionally in order to incapacitate them. So the two issues have nothing to do with each other. And our defense where this case is concerned will be clear. But first, before we even have to mount a defense, we'll have to look at the game of political football that this Montgomery County DA's office has played with my client's life. If you look at the political campaigns that led to the former DA and the about-to-be DA going head-to-head and choosing to make this issue a focal point, what we have now is not the effectuation of justice. What we have is the fulfillment of a campaign promise from a prosecutor who used this case and used the current climate about the allegations against my client in order to get into office, and had to make good before the statute of limitations completely ran out on what he promised in order to get in that office.
All right, and Ms. Presley, quickly, I wanted to ask about how Mr. Cosby is doing. He looked very frail walking into that courtroom. Was he expecting these charges?
Everyone says he looks frail. I don't really understand it. He's a tall man of sufficient girth. He's 78 years old and blind, so he does use a cane so that he can know what's coming in front of him, and he does require assistance because of that, and that is who the DA's office has chosen to charge in this case. That's his status now, 12 years later. But he is in good spirits, and he has confidence in his legal team's ability to bring about justice for him in this case.
Monique Presley, we appreciate your time this morning. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.